My school has given me 40 days to create a full-fledged game, complete with levels, events, menus, everything. By myself. Oh god. So we're going to be using Construct 3 for this. It's a really easy to use app for 15-year-old amateurs like me. So let's start with this block. Yeah, the game won't look like this, but this is what we got now. As you can see, this block has a behavior known as solid, meaning it will act as a platform for our player and some enemies. Next, we'll introduce our player, our star, Ruby. She has plenty of behaviors like scroll to, which makes the camera follow you. Swing allows you to change one or multiple properties of an object like angle, size, and position over a certain amount of time. This is me during sleep. And platform, which allows you to control and move your character. So moving on, we have we got code. This section makes new controls to the game. So as you can see, I'm currently using arrow keys to control her, but now I'm controlling with A, D, and space. No! I'm now realizing I can control Ruby with both arrow keys and letters. Alright, now that Ruby's ready, we're going to give her combat. That's a horrible size animation. Combat is simple. You hit shift, you get this awkward hit effect. What is this? Is she just clapping really hard? Now, a combat mechanic needs enemies to destroy. And they're the fish of the sea. Yes, this is excellent for the environment. We're teaching the new generation some very valuable lessons here. Jokes aside, enemies work via range, where if Ruby gets too close, the enemy starts attacking. And if you're bad, then you die. Now how do I make this work in a reasonable way? Aha, what is this college lecture? Alright, it's time for the first test. So if I come close, oh, there it goes. It's a bit fast. Ah, get off me. After some work, I finally made the combat work. The code is pretty simple, I might edit it later. So let's fight! Easy! I forgot to allow the fish to actually hit me. Now that we finished this enemy, we can work on the next one. There's going to be around 6 enemy types. Woo! This one's basic, and this one's the crab. So as you know, the crab stays on land, and if you hit them, they don't. Oh my wo, Mu Shinryu. Nani? Why the hell is that in the script? What the heck? So, you may be asking, how did you get 2 enemy types with only 1 object? Well, you see, I use type-specific behaviors. So let's say Ruby gets close. She triggers the basic move behavior, meaning any enemy with that behavior turned on will move towards her. Since both enemy types has basic move, they will move to Ruby. Now, if Ruby hits them, it triggers the crab jump behavior, which makes enemies jump. Since only crabs have crab jump, basic fish don't jump, while crabs do. That's such a horrible jump. Now that I've explained the mechanics, we can explore the third enemy, the Charger. He's gone. This is a harder enemy. It has completely new movement where it charges through the player, and you must dodge it. But to actually see how hard they are, we need to add damage. This hit is a separate object from the enemy. When an enemy touches Ruby, the game will wait for the enemy's damage time to pass, damage time being a customizable variable, before spawning the damage on the enemy. So if an enemy touches Ruby, it's best to run away from it to avoid getting damage. If you don't, you die. For most enemies, the damage time is 0.3 seconds, but the charges time is 0 seconds, which is why it's so hard. To aid the difficulty, I think it's time to introduce our secondary character, Pearl. Pearl is pretty simple. She follows you around, and if you click, she shoots towards your cursor. She is so overpowered. This is fine. Let's do our first test. Yeah, this is starting to feel like a game. Here come the charges, and there's the crabs. Wow, that was fun. This is a game now. I mean, if I publish this, I don't think people will like it, but it's a game now. And to make it feel more gamey, what have I done? We're going to add a new enemy type. The Clam. Clams are essentially the game's range attackers. They shoot pearls to Ruby every few seconds, these pearls being retextured damages. Why is this so square? I swear Minecraft pearls are more circular than this. So the way this works is, I use the turret behavior, which if I use this code, will allow me to create a shooting mechanic. The thing is, once the clam spawns the damage, it'll be the original texture. But now, it'll retexture the damage into a pearl. Die! Clam done, now we work on our next enemy type, the Deflector. Deflectors, aka pufferfish, are passive and don't aggro when you get close, but if you get too close, it gains a couple pounds, and you die. Let's test this out, and yo, look at that. After a bit it goes on a diet. Guys, chill out! One last thing about deflectors is that if you hit them, they go to your location when you hit it, meaning you have to move or else it'll hit you. Now with the pufferfish finished, we can move on to the next enemy, the school type. It's facing the wrong way. The school is an interesting type. They spawn in large groups of 5 or 6, but each group is connected, so if Ruby gets close to one fish, the whole house gets mad, and you die. The way I'm making them angry is a hitbox that covers the whole group, and this box has a line of sight, meaning it can see Ruby. How can it see? Where's the eyes? Anyways, as you can see, when they come close to the pack, they all go towards you. Problem is, they all clump up and become easy to kill. But that's a future me problem, because we are moving on to the next phase of development, the visuals. So let's get to work. We'll start, like all good things, with a circle, and I'll time-lapse the rest. It took 30 minutes for 2 rocks. They're nice looking rocks though, but I think it's starting to dawn on me that I've bit off more than I can chew. But those worries come in later stages. For now, our world is coming together. Next on the checklist is the exclam enemy. I'm kidding, that'll be ridiculous. Basically, I want a dialogue mechanic similar to RPGs, and I'm gonna achieve that using this trigger, which generates a dialogue box in this dialogue layout. So as you can see, the character goes here, and I'll draw those characters real quick, and the dialogue looks good now. To explain it in simple terms, the dialogue uses a technique known as variable storage. Basically, let's say you have a variable, like an object's height. If you want to change the height temporarily, when I want to change it back, how does the game know what the original height was? Well, we use another variable, a storage variable. That variable will remember what the height was before I temporarily change it. And when I want to invert it, since the height variable forgot what it originally was, the storage variable will transfer its value into the height variable, which as you know, is the original height. And the end result is this cool effect. Now, I've added text which can be customized. And now I've also added multiple texts, so the same dialogue trigger can store a basic conversation. And I did it by using more variable storage, where the dialogues go through a sort of conveyor, and the front one gets shown to the player before being discarded. And the dialogue is complete. Next up we have the menu. Because most games have menus, first we'll add our buttons, which using a variable, lets us transport ourselves to any layout we want by changing that variable. Here is a short demonstration. And that brings us here, to level 1. Now you may wonder, Egan, did you draw this whole custom rock? No, it's actually a bunch of rocks connected by these weird black things. As for collisions, here they are! I went full detail for this. Look at how small the boxes get. Diverting from level 1, we need to work on the part before the levels, the cutscenes. And we can do that using a Ruby with no controls that falls and touches the dialogue trigger. And that produces text. Next we have something super important, pausing. First we'll use a new GUI layer. They'll attach the pause button to this screen. Then we need to make this work. Now let's see if this works now. So now I pause, I'm flying! Creative mode. Pause again! This is my safe haven. This is so cool. That's not a good pause. Now, we make the menu. These two things are buttons. And through plenty of coding, we should get you shouldn't be there. I'll fix that later, but as you can see, the darkness works in unison with the pause. I broke it. And thus, I left Ruby in the depths of my workshop as I concluded the week. But deep inside, I knew that this wasn't enough. Looking at what I wanted to create, I wasn't fast enough. Dude, this was a huge mistake.